name's Amaya.
Ray, Keller, Palmer.
Hi everyone, my name is Mariah Sanchez. And imagine you're sitting in class, focused on your lesson, and suddenly the announcement comes and there's an active shooter on campus. Your first instinct, you reach for your phone to contact your loved ones to let them know you're safe or to find out if they are. I know what you're probably thinking, that's a harsh line to open with. However, this is our harsh reality. A lot of times during class, students are expected to either put their phones in cubbies or they just simply cannot have their phones out in sight during class. Now, imagine being told that you can't have your phone because it's banned, or imagine needing to take a picture of the board before the teacher erases it, or looking up a definition you don't understand, yet you're told no because phones aren't allowed. These aren't just hypotheticals, they're real situations students face every day. Phones allow students to stay in touch with family, especially in emergencies. According to Perceived Mutual Parent-Child Trust by Zhang, it states parents and children in separated families embrace the positive aspects of the use of mobile phones to overcome geographical distances and stay connected. Most separated parents indicate that it makes them feel closer to their children. These technological connections grant them access to participate in their children's daily lives. This proves that banning phones in schools strips away this connection and ignores the importance of emotional security for not only students but parents as well. Not to mention, phones can also help in a life or death situation, as having a phone could really make a difference. Instead of banning phones, we should use the opportunity to instead educate students on healthy, mindful tech habits. According to banning phones in school would produce mixed results, not necessarily good results. We should be educating children on how to use smartphones positively and proactively, and as a force for good rather than banning them outright. Smartphones are a vital tool in modern life, and it's important children are educated about how to use them effectively and appropriately. I think this will have a lot more effective results. Phones aren't just for social media or for games. They also allow students to look up information, record lectures, take photos and notes, or even using learning apps to help further their education. According to Hold the Phone by Thomas, the beneficial features of mobile phones include access to the internet, the ability to communicate through text messaging, and use of the digital camera and audio/video recorders. This is vital because when used properly, phones can make learning more accessible and engaging. Now, I understand the concern. Some argue that phones are distracting and that most students use them for non-educational purposes during class. I understand this view, as there's simply no denying this because it is true. Students do get distracted easily by cell phones. However, this is where it is out of the teacher's control at this point. If the students knows class is in session and they still choose to be on their phone, that is simply their problem, and once it reflects poorly on their grade, it should fall back on them and not the teachers or the school. At the end of the day, there's only so much a teacher can do. There is no such reason why a school district should force their teachers and principal to implicate a rule when it's simply not their job to tell someone else's child what to do with their personal device. Their job is to teach children about education, and if the student chooses not to learn, I simply believe it falls back on the student and the parent, because at that point, the teacher has done their job without overstepping any boundaries. I strongly stand by this because in college, a professor is not going to beg you to get off your phone or pay attention during lecture. If you choose not to pay attention, it does not fall back on them, it falls back on you because you're responsible for passing the class. But here's the reality. Technology is part of our world now, and phones are just one device. Even if we ban them, students still have access to laptops and tablets in class. According to Phones Off While School's On by King, students' continued access to other devices with similar functionalities to phones, such as laptops and tablets in the classroom, may have diminished the effects of removing phones specifically, which leads me to my point that banning phones doesn't eliminate distractions, it just changes their form. So instead of banning, we should be guiding our students. To conclude, the problem isn't just that phones are distracting in schools, it's that students haven't been taught how to use them responsibly. That's the real cause. Instead of banning phones outright, we need to provide education, guidance, and clear rules that reflect the digital world we live in. Now it's time to act, speak up in your classrooms, your schools, and your communities, and shift the conversation from restriction to responsibility. Thank you.